Hey everyone, today I want to talk about the console shortages once again. We now have a better idea of what's actually causing some of the shortages around the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S. So let's take a look at the reasons for these shortages and what's actually being done to try to resolve these quickly so that you can actually get a console at retail price from a store instead of paying $200, $300, $400 extra from a scalper. Hi everyone, my name is Imtihan. I like to talk about tech. If you like this type of content, make sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. The current generation of consoles, the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S, and the PlayStation 5 have been released sometime in November 2020. But it's 2021, we're almost hitting February, and there's no real stock anywhere. Every week, we see news that this retailer is getting some stock, this retailer is getting some stock, but what's often happening is that most of this inventory is actually going to scalpers just because they're able to get there first, or they're making use of some bots to automatically buy all of the stock that a retailer might have. And then what they try to do is they try to sell it at a premium, maybe charging $200, $300, sometimes $400 extra on external sites like eBay, Kijiji, Facebook Marketplace, what have you. And one of the big reasons that they're actually able to do this is because there is a significant short supply of these consoles on the market. And this short supply is letting these scalpers take advantage of the demand and pick up all of the consoles and immediately make a profit selling them to people who are desperately trying to get a new one. While I'm hopeful that this issue will resolve itself in the next few months, I've made another video on why I think that's the case. This video, let's talk about why this issue exists in the first place. And the biggest reason for this is actually AMD. AMD is actually the company that produces the processing units that go in the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. They are a CPU and GPU manufacturer, and their APUs is what actually powers the current generation of consoles and also powered the previous generation PlayStation and Xbox consoles. AMD has experience manufacturing for consoles before, but 2020 was kind of a unique situation for AMD because while the console releases were happening, AMD was also getting ready to release the Ryzen 5000 series of chips for the desktop computer market, and that created a huge problem. AMD isn't the biggest chip manufacturer in the world. In fact, they do their chip manufacturing through TSMC, who supply pretty much all of the cell phone chips, a lot of the RAM chips, and also the laptop and CPU chips that you see. They also produce GPUs for the PC market, and TSMC is also not the biggest company in the world. This means that a lot of their capacity was actually tested this year because AMD released all of these different products with the new consoles coming out and more people staying at home, meaning that more and more people were actually building PCs. So the demand for chips produced by TSMC actually went up significantly. The situation in 2020 meant that more people were staying at home, so more people could actually justify buying a console. So the demand for the next generation consoles is actually much higher than they normally would be around this time of year. The short supply in those CPUs means that the new consoles, even if all of the other parts were made, without the CPU, they couldn't be shipped. And that's what's actually bottlenecking the manufacturing of the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S. What has AMD chosen to do about this? They're actually in the process of establishing more manufacturing capacity for the AMD chips that actually go in the next generation consoles. And Lisa Su is saying that they will likely be able to produce enough chips to meet console production demands by the summer of 2021. So what does this mean? If you're looking to get into one of the new next generation consoles right now, you might want to wait a few months and save a couple of $100 by not buying it from a scalper. And there's a couple of reasons why. One, a few months is not too long to wait. Two, there's not a lot of exclusives for the next generation consoles. Whatever games you can play on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Xbox Series S are also available on current generation PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro, Xbox One X, Xbox One S, etc. This means that you'll actually be able to play most of the games you want to play with current gen consoles, and they're actually much more plentiful in stores and much more affordable than the next generation consoles too, especially if you're buying used. Another advantage is that both Sony and Microsoft have taken steps to ensure that whatever games you play on your current PlayStation 4 or Xbox One will actually be compatible on the new consoles and actually play a lot better. So if there is a game that's out on the PlayStation 5 and you buy the PlayStation 4 version, most game manufacturers have actually promised that they'll let you upgrade to the PlayStation 5 version of the game when you eventually have that console at no extra charge. Microsoft actually made this even easier with their smart delivery technology, meaning that if you buy a game, you buy once and you play everywhere. You can play it on the Xbox One, and then when you have the Xbox Series X, let's say, you can go on the Xbox Series X, download the game, and if there's an Xbox Series X version of the game, you'll actually automatically download the upgraded version of the game at no extra charge to you. Meaning you'll get the best experience that you can possibly get with the console that you have. So with that kind of peace of mind in place, I don't really think it makes sense to get a next generation console now, especially if you're not paying the suggested retail price for those consoles. And if more of us take the step of choosing not to buy these consoles from the scalpers, they'll have no choice but to reduce their prices and make these consoles more affordable for everyone. If you go on StockX.com, you'll actually see a downward trend on the resale value of the next generation consoles, meaning scalpers are actually making less and less money from trying to resell these consoles than they were even a month ago. And this trend will only continue to increase as stock of these consoles become better over time. Yes, AMD is going to have full capacity to meet demand by the summer, but this means that they're continuing to increase capacity now. So that means that even more and more consoles are actually going to start showing up on store shelves, and they're going to start happening more frequently. So I would say hold on to your wallets. Instead of going out to buy a console now, just wait until you can get one in stock. You're not losing out on your ability to play these games by waiting. You're actually saving a lot of money that you can spend later on buying the console exclusives that'll actually eventually come out in sometime 2021. I hope this video has been informative and helpful. If you like this content, make sure to drop a like on the video. Comment down below what game you're hoping to play on the next generation console. Also, have you been able to get your hands on one of the new consoles at retail pricing, or have you opted to get one from a scalper? Let me know in the comments down below. That's everything from me, and remember to always keep learning. Bye-bye.